Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Trump's a fucking moron. But I was looking for something today. And I stumbled into some other stuff. So I can't remember the show, what the show was called, Crime Stories or some sort of crime show where they talked about real crime. And again, I can't remember if they were called the Philadelphia Six. That's what sticks in my head, the Philadelphia Six. But when I tried to look it up, it doesn't come up. So I started sort of fucking around. Yeah, another day of crazy. Less than a minute, and you're already here begging for my attention. Must be doing something wrong. Hang on a second. But yeah, so I was looking this up, and what this story is this group of friars. It's another one of these huge real estate scandals, and the TV show. I wish I could remember the name of it, but they at the end of the show they point out that turns out it was a bunch of rabbis and whatnot involved, and because of that, the police didn't want to push things further because they didn't want to be the guys that were arresting the rabbis. They didn't want the taboo that would come their way as being the guys that arrested rabbis. And it's getting to this weird point where it's like, because it's all so stupid, it's really hard to even deal with it anymore, right? I was watching Rathbone. I think Rathbone makes some pretty good videos. He does a lot of good stuff, but again, it's like, when do people start embracing the anti-Semitism moniker? Right? When do people understand, instead of hiding from it and acting and allowing it to work as it's supposed to, right? You would think people would want to know and learn the truth behind that weapon. It's a weaponized word. It's like conspiracy theorist or blood libel, or these words have been weaponized by these fucking psychopaths, these pedophiles. Right? Free Palestine, indeed, but Free Palestine is such a small piece of the puzzle. You can't say Free Palestine to the Lebanese. You can't say Free Palestine to the Iranians, to the Syrians. It's not about freeing Palestine. And it's not even about ending Israel, because Israel doesn't actually exist. Israel is a construct. They tell you Israel exists, and it's from this place to that place, from the river to the sea. And you just agree to, okay, if you say so, that's what you say, okay. But the reality is, it's as much of a person as Hollywood. And when they talk about how Hollywood used to be so racist, I mean, it's the same people that were racist in Hollywood are the same people committing the genocide to this day. But we mistakenly say, it's Israel doing it, or it's Hollywood doing it, or whatever. And they hide behind that. They hide behind the wording so often. And you don't understand what Israel's gone through. Yeah. Isn't that funny? The admitted pedophile, he's admitted to being a pedophile. The admitted pedophile friar is telling you, you just don't understand. So if you ask him, all right, well, elaborate, man. Help us understand why it's okay for you to commit genocide. There's nothing going to come back. He's not capable of actually intelligently saying anything. I don't care about any of them. Yeah, well, you're a piece of shit. That's okay. You know, there's always going to be piece of shits. We can't let the piece of shits, you know, decide things for us. Just because you're a piece of shit doesn't mean everybody else is a piece of shit. Yeah. It's fucking stupid. You guys are fucking stupid. So the real thing is that we need to end the cult, not Israel, not free Palestine, not free Iran, not free Lebanon. Lebanon, what's happening in Lebanon is insane. You know, but Lebanon was attacked. This latest attack on Lebanon, 100 strikes in 10 minutes. It has to do with friar bullshit. It has to do with religious fucking bullshit. That attack, the day of that attack was the last day of Passover. And Passover's when they spill blood. I never admitted to anything. Yep, there we go. Fucking pedophile. Now he's lying. Who's surprised that the pedophile is lying? Anybody? Yeah, he's admitted it. He's acknowledged that he not only does he support pedophile practices, he partakes in them. Yeah. So he's a pedophile. And you know, obviously, anybody that supports pedophilia is a pedophile. Like you fucking pieces of shit flying the pedophile flag. That blue and white flag acknowledges who the pedophiles are. Just like being Trump supporter acknowledges that you're a pedophile. So it's only a pedophile supports a pedophile. It's, you know, obviously these are cowards. Pedophiles are cowards. They're the people that live in the shadows. They're the people that know that like, you know, at any given time they could be outed, and once they're outed, their lives are in danger. They know that. So you can't expect them to just come out and openly say, oh yeah, but, you know, no. You have to look at what they present you. You have to look at the fact that they say shit that non-pedophiles don't say. Regular people who aren't a pedophile, they don't make pedophile jokes. They don't try to stop conversations about exposing, killing pedophiles. They're not like, oh, stop talking about that. Okay? Yeah, I'm a pred, huh? Is that why I do this? Is this the best you can come up with? The guy that thinks we should kill you pieces of shit is also one of you? Yeah, I doubt it. But I understand that my work directly affects you. I understand that you're desperately trying to hurt me back, hurt my feelings back, because everything I'm saying hurts you, bothers you. You don't like being outed like this. I get it. And none of your other stupid shit works, so you're like, well, maybe if I say the same things that he said to me that hurt my feelings so much, maybe it'll work against him. It won't. Seriously, they're so desperate, they're actually changing the names on their fucking profiles. Right? They're changing their profile names just so they can try to get their fucking nonsense across. Israel is not doing genocide. Really, what do you call it? Ethnic cleansing, ritual murder, like what are you going to call it? It doesn't hurt or bother me. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. You don't like being outed. Again, it puts your life on the line. You don't even know how to respond like a non-pedophile because you're a pedophile. You just, everything you do proves it. Okay? These guys are disgusting. They support pedophilia. You know, I mean, if you're an Israel supporter, if you're a Friar supporter, that's pedophilia. It's what it is. Okay? Yep, 8 people, right? I only have 8 people watching me, and yet for some reason, it's a bunch of the same fake Israeli profiles that come here every day. Almost like it's act.il, hard at work. But, again, this starts getting into that factual category where you guys can't really handle it, can you? Make it make sense. Why else would these pieces of shit be here? I only have 10 viewers. I'm talking about, all I'm doing is talking about the wrong thing. Blah, blah, blah. Why would they waste so much effort and energy on me if I was wrong? If they weren't terrified? The last thing they want is someone like me getting a platform. Me getting a platform because I inspire people. Whether it's good or bad, I inspire. Look at how much I inspire. Look at how many people I inspire to waste their life trying to get my attention, providing me the example that I need provided. Like, the best part is these guys wouldn't be here if I didn't allow them to be here. They're allowed to be here because they provide a valuable role for me here. Most people, I don't have to point it out, but most people, if you call them a pedophile, they deny it. They get mad about it. They definitely don't keep coming back to the feed to try to get called pedo even more. They don't keep coming to the feed to you know, to have more, you know, to provide more evidence of what they do. Most people, if you call them a pedophile, they're like, fuck you, dude. At the very least, they get mad, but, you know, they definitely don't keep coming back for more and playing the role. These guys, gee, it's kind of weird, don't you think? Kind of weird, don't you think? And again, not one of them will talk about how they think pedos should be killed, how, you know, how their thing is good. That's the most telling, you know? They don't talk about how good their thing is. They don't tell you about how, you know, how good Israel is, how good friars are, you know, how I'm wrong about this or wrong. They don't do that. They just cry. They just cry and make up little fantasies. I love the idea that I'm so good at what I do that it's the devil or it's Iran. It must be that Iran, the entire country of Iran, is behind. That's how good I am at what I do. It must be an entire country's worth of work against me. Like, that's how stupid these people are. And again, these are the, if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel people. That's what they say. Carry on. What's going on? If you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. It's weird. If you open up the books on me, you're not going to demonize me. Okay? There's nothing you can, you know, I don't have anything in my that demonizes me. Everybody's made mistakes, but do I have anything that would demonize me? No. But that's the kind of shit they say, because they're just, look at them, just desperate. Yup, grown man whining on YouTube, says the troll who comes to my feed every day for hours and cries for my attention. Yeah, I'm the fucked up one here. Not the one who's fighting against it. The one who thinks we should kill the friars. That's the bad guy. Gotcha. It means you're doing something right. While you are. Yeah, it must. That's how I see it. I think that's how normal people see it. This shit doesn't make any sense any other way. The only way this makes sense is if they're working. It's not like they have jobs that they need to be at. It doesn't matter when I go live. They'll be here for hours on end, begging for my attention. Literally, the Joe crybaby has his alarm set so that as soon as I go live, he's here within a minute. He's been watching my other stuff before I go live just so he can get the notification. And usually the notification doesn't actually reach out to people for another 30 or 45 seconds. So he's just waiting and waiting and waiting to come here and prove what pedophile friars look like. He's a pedophile. He's a friar. He's so mad at what I'm doing, he offered to bribe me $50,000, like he has $50,000. He tried bribing me to stop talking. It must be because I'm wrong, right? All of this stuff that happens must be because I'm wrong. That's how that makes sense. The funny thing is anybody else, if you decide to go live and just start talking about whatever, Joe's not going to show up and bribe you to stop talking. You go in and you start talking about how bad Muslims are. Joe's not going to show up and tell you can't talk like that. I just find random people and then I tell them they can't do what they're doing. No. Joe has been assigned to this feed. They are directed to come here. Joel, I'm sorry, his name is Joel, according to him. Joel Bernstein or some shit like that. Something awful. Right, just awful. All done. I just recorded on the phone. Nice. You took my advice? In the closet? It's not warm enough yet. I'd do this outside, but it's still just not quite warm enough. And it's all wet. Fucking dog. Oh. Jolene. Yeah, he's got to get an update. Right, guys, if I'm wrong about any of it, please, this is an open forum. You can tell me exactly what I'm wrong about. Like I said, I was actually trying to look up this case. I thought it was out of Philadelphia. It could be out of New Jersey. It's out of New Jersey. Maybe it is out of New Jersey. The New Jersey 6? Was that it? But there was this crime show that was made about how these friars got in all this trouble. So I'm trying to find it. I look up, New Jersey 6. I look up friars get arrested and friars get arrested in real estate scheme, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't believe how much shit gets pulled up. Oh, no. A pride bag is going to blame me for saying things he doesn't like. Oh. Funny how they never try to educate. Isn't it weird? Never try to educate. Huh? Who needs mods? There's no need for mods. I enjoy these. I don't want these. If I didn't want these piece of shits here, they wouldn't be here. Do you guys understand? If I'm God to them. If I don't allow them to be on my feed, providing a fantastic example of the piece of shit friar, they don't get to be here. It's just that simple. I've never encouraged anyone to, report the negative comments or, try to get the pages in trouble because they make pages dedicated to me. No, I want you guys to find those things. I want them to promote me as much as they possibly can. Because I'm in the right, so I don't have to worry. I know that any real decent person that they fall for it and they like, oh, this guy's a dick, I'm going to go tell him to his face. They come on here to try to tell me what a dick I am. All you got to do is listen. All you got to do is be here for 5 minutes and you'll figure out you've been duped. Who the real bad guys are. I mean, unless, of course, you're a pedophile like Joel. Right? Oh, no, I am your God, Joel. You fantasize about me. You'd blow me in a heartbeat. If I was like, Joel, come on, give me some toppy. You'd be there and you'd be like, please, can I swallow, please? You'd be all about it. I am your fucking God, and you bow down to me, you little bitch. That's why you beg for my attention. You spend more time on me than you spend on religion, on your God. And you can't back up anything you have to say. Klein Inspector. Why has he got his head turned to the side? Who was like, yeah, turn your head like this while you're talking? What a fucking gross weirdo. Klein Inspector. Oh, you can't do the same thing. I don't even know what to do. Yeah. I'm doing the same thing. You got it. Stay in your cage, boy. The arrogance of this sky is absolutely mind-boggling. I'm arrogant, thinking I'm your God. I am your God. I don't know how else you would put it. It's not like you give a reason why you're here. It's not like you answer for why you're here. It's not like you explain anything. All you do is provide a wonderful example of what horrible piece of shit people, you friars are. Right? Bunch of fucking piece of shit friars. So like I say, if you just look it up, if you just kind of look up, I'm going to do it here. Friars arrested in fraud scheme. It just comes up with so many. Several fraud scheme involving friar individuals, often targeting members of the Orthodox community or involving international components. Gosh, that's weird. This is where I always try to tell you guys, like, it's not just us that are victims of these people, right? Even that's why there's so many of you Hasidiotics out there, right? Because you're the fodder. You're the sacrifice. You're the dumbass. They don't respect you. Friar supremacy isn't all friars are supreme. Obviously, in their world, all friars are better than Goyim. But all friars aren't created equally. And they have no problem stealing from each other. So they create this lower class version, like it's like the Freemasons, right? The Freemasons have the first 3 levels that anybody can be a part of. That way you hide right out in the open. Right? These friars are the worst people in the world, by far. Like their whole foundation is pedophilia. And you know I'm right, because friars, pedophile friars like Joel are just going to sit here and cry, pretending he's lying. He's lying. They're not going to tell you what I'm lying about, but involving international components having resulted in arrests and convictions. Notable cases include Yossi Engel's $47 million Ponzi scheme in Los Angeles in 2023, a 2007 tax fraud and money laundering case involving Spinka Rabbi Naftali Tzvi, and various welfare mortgage fraud cases in New York and New Jersey. Lakewood's going to show up in this, right? Cases of Yossi Engel, $47 million Ponzi scheme in 2023. Israeli citizen Yossi Engel was sentenced to 80 months in prison for a Ponzi scheme that defrauded members of the Orthodox friar community in Los Angeles of over $47 million. Engel claimed to be raising capital for security cameras and property in Israel. I mean, if he just rips us off, they're not going to care nearly as much. Spinka financial controversy, 2007. Grand Rabbi Naftali and others were arrested for $8.7 million tax fraud scheme, where they laundered donations through businesses in the U.S. and Israel, keeping kickbacks while helping donors fraudulently claim tax deductions. Look at this one. The Lakewood welfare fraud investigations. Lakewood? Gosh, that's a familiar place. I really wish I could talk to Tyler Oliveira, because I'd ask him, why does he... Like, as much as I appreciate what he does, he still perpetuates a lot of their bullshit. Any of the people that are actually good Goyim doing something about this, if they can shut you down with anti-Semitism, you're wrong. Like, you're not there yet. You have to just the financials, not just the schooling, not just the government. It's not just those things. The music, not just those things are used against you. The words, our language has been hijacked by them. Right? Right? Look at again. Look at how desperate little Joel is. Joel's not going to address what's being said. He's just going to keep saying the same things about me that I said about him, and that hurt his feelings. They hurt his little feelings. They all have micro penises, right? Why do you think the only friar porn star you can think of is Ron Jeremy? Easily the ugliest porn star to ever exist. But he was all they had. They needed a guy with a big dick, and they couldn't find a good-looking guy, so they just had to go with fucking Ron Jeremy. Nasty-ass, pedophile Ron Jeremy, who, incidentally, was caught fucking diddling kids. Because that's what the fuck they do. People need to understand, they're not smarter than, but they're on top of things more than people realize. And that they saw that their illusion was cracking. They saw that, especially people like me, they've been watching me for a long time. But they saw that people like me have prolificated. We have gained. Whereas, it used to be 10 years ago saying these things, you get in a loud, you can't say that. You can't say that. And you'd be like, why? Why do you think I can't say that? And they'd be like, But they saw it. The 9/11 thing. is completely falling apart. Their 9/11 narrative is completely falling apart. And on top of everything else, you have their genocidal nature, right? And I'm not the only one who sees what's going on and doesn't just take it at its word. I go look into it and try to figure it out. And there are more and more people, especially like me. And if you're watching, like, share, sub, help out. Supposedly it works. I don't know. 14 watchers, 7 likes, 2,500 subscribers. I don't know. Normally I end up with more likes than I have viewers. So they're going to cut it soon. They'll cut the viewership soon. So I need your help to get past that point. But at least in theory, again, I don't know how well it works. Doesn't seem to work very well. Seems to be broken. But this whole thing is manipulation. It's all just manipulation. And they see it. They see that like my kid was saying, most of the kids in his school are atheists. They've seen what's happening. You know, the college campuses and university campuses are still engaging in protests left and right. The shit's still happening all over the fucking place. They're just not reporting it like they were. But the next, what is supposed to be the lazy generation, the generation, whatever they are now, they're supposed to be these do-nothings. This is the first generation to step up and be like, yeah, no, fuck you. This is wrong. We're going to protest against Israel. Wow. This white people shooting gun. This white kid and his fat ass white dad. Now that doesn't get turned into some cultural thing and white people. If it was a Muslim, then everybody would lose their shit because the Muslims just killed the cop on the side of the road and that. Right? I shared out yesterday this crazy old guy. Nothing happens because of it. They shut it down. I think the more shares and shit it gets, the more of the the more attention it gets, and it's more likely that they're going to shut things down if you start getting too big, too much. But this is all just manipulation. It's all a way for them to maintain their position. They have you thinking that the conspiracy is one of excuse me, is one that has, a bunch of moving parts and it's too complicated for you to figure out and, anything like it's not. It's actually a very simple conspiracy. It's a very simple, the weakest, dumbest, most inbred version of us, of people, got lazy over the years. They just got lazy. And they fucked around and they accidentally gave us the internet. They accidentally gave us the ability to communicate with each other. So we all realized, holy shit, it's not us versus us. It's us versus them. But they that's not how they want it. Yeah. You hear me pushing Iranian propaganda over and over again. What part of my... The only mentions of Iran that I've had are in response to this crybaby's desperation. But like I say, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. People, this guy is a piece of shit friar who claims he travels back and forth to Israel all the time and, partakes in all the rituals and shit. This guy isn't going, hey man, you're wrong. There's this and there's this and blah. He's not doing that. He's desperate like a fish out of water. Just, this guy's an Iranian propagandist. Like where? What's the Iranian propaganda again? I'd love which part of what I'm saying is Iranian propaganda. Trump is a pedophile. You are correct. And anybody that supports Trump is a pedophile as well. Only pedophiles support pedophiles. If you're not a pedophile, there's nothing Trump is doing that's like, oh, well, he's doing that. Like, it's all just, he's losing a war. He's lying every chance he can get. He's got Netanyahu all over his face. He's a piece of shit. Yeah. So is the guy that thinks we should kill pedophiles. Gotcha. First couple of levels are all about the club and the cheap alcohol. They're just the worst. They are just the worst. Let me read you this Lakewood thing. Lakewood welfare fraud investigations, 2017. Numerous couples, including rabbis, were arrested in New Jersey for hiding millions of dollars in income while collecting Medicare, food stamps, and other public assistance, with reported fraud amounting to over $2 million in initial investigations. I actually think that's the one I'm talking about. Hasidic family mortgage fraud, 2014. A New York-based family was charged in a $20 million mortgage fraud scheme that spanned a decade, involving false statements to banks and government agencies. International phony brokerage, 2025. A Ukrainian-Israeli national pleaded guilty to running a fake stock brokerage organization, scamming American investors. Wow. I want to look in the Lakewood welfare. Let's see. Lakewood is like such a hotbed. Lakewood welfare fraud. The fact that Naomi Elkins is from there just says it all. You have to love how, I mean, it's you're dealing with friars when they use the same tactics for everything, right? But when you say Trump is a pedo, and they go, oh, you support Biden. How does saying Trump is a pedo support Biden or Kamala? How does that work? You know, it's called ad hominem. It literally has a name for people that don't understand. It's called ad hominem. And here, we'll look it up for you real quick. Ad hominem, or short for argumentum ad hominem, refers to several types of arguments where the commenter, in this case, attacks the character, motive, or some other attribute of the person making an argument rather than the substance of the argument itself. This avoids genuine debate by creating a diversion, often using a totally irrelevant but highly charged attribute of the opponent's character or background. The most common form of this fallacy is that person A, beautiful me, makes a claim of fact to which person B, you pieces of shit, assert that wonderful me has a personal trait, quality, or physical attribute that is repugnant, thereby going off topic, and hence you, person B, concludes that me, wonderful me, person A, has their fact wrong without ever addressing the point of the debate. A common misconception is that ad hominem attack is synonymous with an insult, and I don't agree with that. To me, it's actually really great when people do that. It's probably the most powerful thing, the most powerful example I have. Like, it's better than people who are agreeing with me because, you know, people can just say, oh, they're just agreeing with you. It's also better than people who disagree with me because at least the people who disagree with me are able to come up with something to disagree with. When you're here for stated negative purposes. You're here to disrupt and you know, you're crying and cloying. But you can't actually address anything. You can't come up with anything to validate your negative feelings. Like that makes my argument that much stronger. Right? Like that's how you know I'm right. None of these people are sitting on some great argument. None of them are just waiting for the right time to drop the bomb argument, and until then they look as stupid as they can. No, this is desperation. The main tactic that the friars use, that Israelis use, and you can see it in endless examples online. Holy shit. Endless examples online. Look at the Shmuley versus Candace argument that was on Piers Morgan. Look up anytime Anna Kasparian is on there talking to one of these piece of shit friars. Right? All they ever do is cry, say you can't say that, you know, all the same things they do here, but they never actually address the arguments. You gotta see this. This shit's funny as hell. Rabbi Shmuley is just such a dumbass. It's pretty fucking funny. Candace Shmuley. Ad hominem,
Thinking about starting to run on the treadmill.
This shit's funny as fuck.
Yeah, no, that's total. Against one debate, I expected that.
Hey, someone's doing against one debate.
And okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about my being demonic. This is a two against one debate. I expect
ad hominem about my being demonic. He's such a fucking dumbass. Yep, I'm delusional. Oh no, they're delusional. Gotcha. Of course they have to be. Listen, their entire thing is made up fantasy. You can't have friarism without having Exodus, okay? Exodus is like the most important story in the Bible. Without Exodus, the Bible none of it happens. None of the Abrahamic religions exist. It literally all comes down to Exodus, right? And Exodus is the dumbest story, like, possible. It's the dumbest story in the Bible, and that's saying a lot. There's a lot of awful shit. There's a lot of stupid, like, this one takes the cake for the dumbest. And you have to be delusional and you know, schizophrenic to actually believe in this shit. And you know it's fake because they can't even talk about this. As much as they can't talk about metzitzia, soul correction, bottom of darkness, the Talmud, 3 years, 1 day thing, all of it. They won't talk about any of that stuff. But like the main story of their thing, you would think they'd be able to talk about that. Especially considering, you know, all they do is go to school every day, all day long. They go to yeshiva so they can study this shit. They never have to have jobs because they're so busy studying the Torah and the yeshiva. You would think they'd be able to have these kinds of conversations. But it's the you know, this is the foundation story of your shit. You guys make movies about it and shit. Let my people go. Right? If they make movies about it, why won't you talk about it? Other than the fact that you don't have it. right? You know that it's bullshit. It's like why my kid doesn't bring home his report card. Because he knows it's not going to work out well for him. These guys know they can't fucking... There's no way they can get into the Exodus conversation. Anybody ever talking about... You just did there, dumbass. You just did. Anybody that believes in that bullshit, like I'm talking to any of you Abrahamic religious believers. You know, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, any of them. Shouldn't you be able to have this conversation pretty straightforward? It requires faith. You have to have faith. Without faith, you're not going to believe it. You're right, because it's stupid. Unless you say, I already believe this narrative, no matter what's said to me, you're not going to believe it because it takes a fucking moron. I hope not. You know, I mean, I know, like, Frank, I know you're sort of, like, programmed to say these things. But the reality is, my entire presentation is, you know, it hinges on we need to protect the Jewish children. Like, I think protecting Jewish children is the number one, you know, issue, should be the number one goal in the world. They love to hide and say, oh, you just, like dumbass yesterday was saying, this guy would 200% put us in the ovens if he could. 200% is not a thing. We're going to lower drug prices by 200%, 500%, 1200%, 1600%. And he doubled down and said that multiple times. He's so dumb. Right? Have you done a handstand in a stressful situation? No. Can't physically do it. But anytime somebody says something like that, like my wife likes this very friar looking lady who you know, she tells people how to, she says, you know, anytime you get to that point where you're just at a 10 and you're ready to act like a T-Rex and put your arms up and start stomping around and acting like a T-Rex, and that'll make of course that's going to make you feel better. You start acting like a dumbass in any situation, you're going to laugh and it's going to make you feel better. The key is to not let yourself get to that 10 in the first place, but she doesn't say that. But if you were in a stressful situation and you stopped doing whatever you were doing to cause you stress and got into a handstand position, you're going to feel better the majority of the time. Now, if it's something serious, you're probably going to feel like a dumbass for doing a handstand while trying to deal with something serious. But that's you know, come on now. Let's stick with what's going on here. Let's stick with more important shit. Look at how fucking goofy these guys are. Oh, man. Look, we have a goofy white guy profile talking about ICE. It's crazy how you're so programmed that you've forgotten that ICE is killing white people, innocent white civilians. And those stories are just going away. Isn't that interesting how that happens? The mind fuckery is disgusting. It is, but it's a necessity. You know, how else do you control a vet? Like remember, they make up 0.183% of the world's population. They only make up 2% of the US population. How do you have such a small group of people control so much? Right? How do you know, it has to be drastic. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And it, you know, surprisingly, it involves, you know, more it involves more than people realize. Sorry, I'm distracted by this. But this, you know, like it's going to require us to unify, since that's the thing. And oh, that was what I was going to say. They could actually, life would be better for everyone, including them, if they just did things a little differently. Right? If they just, you know, were nice about it, you know. Oh, look, we have a pedophile here. So Bill is a pedophile. Bill Desmet. Bill Desmet is a pedophile. He uses his real name. Bill Desmet is a pedophile. How fucked up is that? And don't even deny it. You know? You might not have gotten caught, but you're the type that deals in pictures and shit. You're the type that has videos on their phone or on their computer. You know? You're the type that supports a pedophile. And only pedophiles support pedophiles. Go ahead, sue me. I dare you to. Bill Desmet, the pedophile. Bill Desmet, the pedophile, is going to sue me. Please do, Bill. You know, if you sue somebody, then they have access to all of your goodies, right? Right? Funny, too, how Bill doesn't deny it. Real people go, what? Fuck you, dude. I'm not a fucking pedophile. Who the fuck do you think you are? Not, I could sue you for defamation. That sounds very Shmuley-esque, doesn't it? Right? At the end of the day, you know, again, I'm so used to doing this, I forget that most people aren't here. They haven't gotten here yet. So one thing that most people need to understand, and this is such a big fucking deal, is act.il, okay? Act.il, you got the locked up page, so you can't hide behind anything. Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online, quote, anti-Israel content, such as the Boycott, Divestments, and Sanctions Movement, BDS. Its activities were referred to as, quote, an online propaganda campaign and, quote, a virtual situation room of pro-Israel experts. Act.io, this is where you pay attention to the wording, okay? This is their words. Remember, they control Wikipedia. Everything on Wikipedia is balanced and Zionist in nature. Naftali Bennett is, at this point, he's a former Israeli prime minister. At the point where he was recording this in 2010, he's a future Israeli prime minister. If you spend 5 minutes looking up Naftali Bennett, you'll see how bigwig he is. This is him in 2010 talking to the IsraelNationalNews.com.
With My Israel has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
There you go.
More.
Right? Balanced and Zionist in nature. See, you have shit like this where you have Abby Martin went to Israel. It's worse than you think. But the thing is, she talks about it like Israel, she'll say, Israel went full fascist. You know, Israel has become something, blah, blah, blah. Israel has always been this. You don't have a country that was founded on genocide and be like, oh, now they're turning bad. They've always been bad. And the thing is, you know, it's interesting because all of us have been taught that the reason for Israel is because of the Holocaust. You know, it was payment for what happened with the Holocaust. That's what they've been telling us our whole lives. If you ask Grok, why was Palestine forced to pay for what happened with the Holocaust? She will say, that's not true, that didn't happen. The friars have been trying to colonize Palestine for decades before 1948. And it's right. You know, they call them aliyahs, but reported and documented, you will hear from my legal team. Go fuck yourself, Bill the pedophile. Bill Desmet, the pedophile Trump supporter. I'm a white guy who thinks I should be able to say my opinions, and then you're not supposed to say your opinions based on my opinions. It's not my fault you outed yourself. You came to a feed where I've said numerous times, anybody that supports Trump is a pedophile. I was actually saying it at the time when you decided to chime in. You outed yourself, doofus. But the Aliyah, the Havara agreement, how come none of us heard about the Havara agreement in school? I know, no matter what you try to say, I know you didn't. When I was in school, we used to have a 20 years ago, we used to have a month-long lesson every year where they would do the World War II, Holocaust, friars are the victims, they're only the victims, nothing, you know, they had no control, they were just victimized, and because of that, we got Israel in 48. Not one time did anybody ever mention the Havara agreement. Right? The Havara agreement completely destroys the entire fucking Holocaust narrative. Right? Oh, look, we have another one. Let's see. Got some dumb name, so we can't really find out who it is. But that's another pedophile. Rab Autograph. Rab Autograph. Rab Autograph is another pedophile. Go figure. Jesus is king, says some dumb broad. Right? Obviously, you don't believe in your shit. Obviously. Coming on here and proving the point first and foremost. I honestly believe that nobody that claims to be a Christian really believes that shit. You might say you believe it, but you don't really believe it. And you know it because you don't follow the rules. If you thought that there was any chance whatsoever that something you did would lead to you going to hell for all of eternity, you wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't do it. It's not going to work, dude. You don't know my risen Savior. You know, I think it's the funniest thing how anytime Christians start trying to get into a conversation, they start speaking another language. They speak in a completely different way than they speak in real life. It's the funniest shit, man. As soon as you try getting Christians to answer legitimate questions, it turns into some like, well, the light of the Lord shineth upon thy soul and thy face with thy butt cheeks. And you're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Just answer the question in normal English. Oh, thee, thy, they, thither. Jesus died for me, so I don't have to go to hell, right? Because you're just a dirty sinner. You're a dirty sinner. A dirty sinner who's got to go to hell. You're going to go to hell when you die, you dirty sinner. You dirty sinner. You were born sinful in your mom's vagina, shooting heroin and having sex with people. That's why you need those hepatitis shots too, you dirty sinner. You know what friars say about Jesus, right? Burning in hell, boiling in a vat of semen, in a cauldron of semen. I think that's Mary. I know that's Mary for sure. I'm not. I hear people say it's Jesus too, but I don't know. They didn't believe in Jesus as anything special. Jesus was just some dude. You should try dabs, bro. I don't think that flour is strong enough. There's that dumb Christian again. Judgmental. Out of place. I thought you were a good Christian woman, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? 1 Timothy 2:12. 1 Timothy 2:12. Shut the fuck up. I permit no woman to teach or have authority over a man. She is to keep silent. Jesus, look at this shit. Comes out, double guns blazing. Pow, pow, pow. That's fucking crazy. Blasphemous mouth against a holy, righteous God. Oh, a holy, righteous. He's so righteous. While he's literally got a closer view than this to children being raped by clergymen on a daily basis. And your God does nothing. Gosh, that's interesting, don't you think? Your piece of shit God that doesn't exist. Your friar, fucking, it's a friar fairy tale. See, again, it comes down to really, it's this weird, ignorant arrogance that these Christians have. Like, they're so arrogant in thinking their thing is right, but they can't back it up with anything. And if their thing's right, then everything else is wrong. They can't back up why everything else is wrong either. You love to quote Paul out of context. Yep, I love to quote Paul out of context. Yep. It's really hard to take it out of context. I permit no woman to teach or have authority over a man. She is to keep silent. Yeah. Look at me messing that all up. Fucking dumb, man. Just dumb. You know? And again, they have no idea. They don't know any of their shit. This dumb broad doesn't know about Exodus. This dumb broad doesn't know about the Davidic line and all this other bullshit that comes with the Bible. She doesn't know any of that stuff. There weren't any religious texts written down or anything like that until the 900s. The earliest text that we have regarding Jesus used to be prior to the convenient finding of the Jewish Dead Sea Scrolls that supposedly date to around 70 AD, which again, how do you even begin to do that? But the earliest texts prior to that were from like the 900s. It's all just dumb shit. And look at how the religious people, they like start speaking in another language. They can't act, they start talking like they're, 5-year-old children who can only answer things in weird fucking, half sentences and fairy tale pull cord responses. Like you go, okay, yeah, let's just like put common sense behind it though. I know you were taught something. All of you dumb Christians who believe that the bad guys of your Bible were not, Satan makes a few appearances in the Bible, but the Bible's not about Satan. The Jewish Bible, it's a Jewish fairy tale. All of the main characters in the Bible are Jewish. It's without a doubt. Mary was probably 12, 13 years old when she gave birth to Jesus. It's just how that shit works. And she was betrothed to a man 10 years plus her age. Like it's just how it works. So if you throw away all the earliest text is later. Oh, okay, bro, great. What? Okay, listen. I know you're a dumb girl. I get it. I hate that. Like there are females and then there are dumb girls. Like there are N-bombs and then there are black people. There are females and then there are dumb girls. And you apparently are really keen on proving that you're a dumb girl. Yeah. Prior to 46, when the Dead Sea Scrolls were conveniently found in a cave in what would become Israel, the earliest text that we had, and those Dead Sea Scrolls were magically dated to around 70 AD. The earliest stuff we have is from the 900s. So that means for around 900 plus years, it was just a game of telephone, apparently. But again, this dumb broad doesn't understand what that means. I'm fairly sure I'm using common sense English, but okay, rant on. Jesus is still king though. See what I mean? They just can't, like that's just, they don't even use proper, English when they talk. Jesus is king. Jesus is king? You mean like from Tekken? King who? King what? King of where? What are you talking about, you dumbass? Why aren't you capable of having a reasonable conversation about what you believe? If what you believe is true, first of all, me not believing it shouldn't bother you. It should be your quest, your goal, your charge. You're not charged with finding like-minded people and then stroking each other. You're supposed to find people like me and then convince us to join the fold. But it's funny how you guys always get upset and then start speaking in fucking broken English and shit. You would think you would have more argument. You would think you would have, you're the one that supposedly has thousands of years of history to pull from. How come you can't come up with anything better? How come you're acting like someone that has been bested in the argument, but is too much of a fucking stubborn pig to acknowledge it? Like, you're wrong, so you're saying goofy shit. Because if you were right, like if I was like, what's the best way to make chocolate chip cookies? You wouldn't be like, well, you'd be like, all right, here, let me just tell you, it's this, and then it's this. Some people will tell you it's this, but actually, if you do this way at this time, you get real detailed with it. And if somebody said, no, I think I have a better recipe, you're not going to be like, oh, I hate you. What? I'm gonna watch you every day and talk shit to you because you don't think my recipe's the good recipe. And actually, the funniest thing is, in that sort of context, I'm asking you like what your recipe is, and you're going, why would I tell you? I'm not gonna back up my claim that my recipe's the best. Just believe that my recipe's the best one. Jeez. Well, funny thing is, I know your recipe, and your recipe doesn't work. The ingredients are wrong. The times are wrong. Actually, it makes no sense whatsoever. I'd like to talk to you about it. No, I'm just gonna, my cookies are the best. My recipe's the best. I'm gonna attack you now. It's the weirdest shit, man. How come you're not slaying me with your arguments? Oh, yeah, well, no, there's this, and then there's this. And how come you're not providing me with all these factual pieces of evidence to prove your point? How come you can't even tell us why you personally believe in that shit? Right? You can't tell us why you personally believe in what you believe in. What have you experienced? What did you see? What did you, how can you prove that your version of the Friar fairy tale, you're the Protestant or the Lutheran or whatever thing that you believe in, your particular one is right, and the thousands of other ones that exist on this planet they're all wrong. How can you prove it? How can any of you prove that your God doesn't absolutely hate religion and is using me because it's, God's comically powerless. If you pay attention to the fucking story, God can only help people run faster and catch touchdowns, apparently. God's comically powerless when it comes to anything real, anything, the devil, anything where there's accountability. God can't do it. So it took thousands of years before God could finally break through, and he got to me. Guy, son of Guy. Born on Christmas. Bronzy feet. Woolly hair. Mother's Mary. Her father is Joseph, and her mother is Margaret Magdalena. Was. All the good stuff that comes with my birthdays. And how do you know that God isn't fed up with all the horrendous shit done in its name, and it's using me? That's why I'm so good at what I do, that, not only do you claim you hate me, but you're obsessed with me. You can't even tell me what I'm wrong about. Sure seems like you always tell me I'm getting some help. Must be the devil, or I'm an Iranian, or whatever. It can't just be that I'm smarter than you. So maybe that extra special oomph that I'm getting that has you so obsessed with me, maybe that's God. Satan has blinded the mind of those that choose to believe not. Open your eyes to the glorious light of the gospel to be saved. See what I mean? Who the fuck talks like that? Go to the restaurant, the waitress comes, all right, hon, what do you have? I will be enjoying the sustenance that you will provide me because I will enjoy the eggs over the easy. I will enjoy 3 of those eggs and not just 2. Along with the bacon of the pig. What? And then I would like the bread of rye. Right? Like, who talks like that? How come when it comes down to talking about the thing that is clearly like the most important thing, you know, why can't you just speak English? The God and the Satan, and I have an imaginary enemy as loyal as imaginary friends now. The Satan. Nothing is my responsibility, whether it's good or bad. Jesus, that was bad. I was an atheist until Jesus found me in my doubts and disbelief. All right, see, again, I love when people say that shit. Go on, give us that story. Why don't you make the video, call it Guy Williams Sucks, and tell us how you used to be an atheist until some incredible thing had to happen. Oh, wait. No, I was drinking and I was doing drugs, and then Jesus found me. Jesus found me while I was drinking and doing drugs. You know what's never happened in the history of Goddom? You've never heard the story of the cop driving around on his beat through the neighborhood like he always does. When suddenly, Jesus appeared to him sitting in the passenger seat. Jesus, take the wheel. And Jesus said, stop the car, my son. And obviously he stops the car. Jesus is there. And he says, go kick down that door. Never thee worry about thee warrant. Verily, 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 it will be okay. Go kick down that door. Jesus commandeth thee to do so. And he goes and he kicks down the door and he busts open a huge pedophile ring. In all of the history of God, something good like that doesn't benefit some selfish piece of shit has never happened. Apparently why that can't happen is because Jesus is so busy finding drunks and drug addicts that he's so busy finding them and saving them that he can't fucking, you know, he can't be bothered to expose any pedophile rings or help anything like that, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? You selfish piece of shit, you. Christians are the most, like they always love to claim that Christianity is the absence of ego, the absence of arrogance, but it's absolutely the opposite. You have to be the most arrogant, you know, piece of shit in the world to not only think there's a God, and then there's a God's plan. God has a plan. It's not even, you know, it's not just that it's God, that it's God's plan that exists. And you, dumbass you, somehow has the ability to get God to change its mind. You know, you ask these fake ass Christians, they always say, oh, I've experienced so many miracles in my life. And you go, really? Miracles? The train was going down the track. You were tied to the track. You couldn't get out of it. You'd been struggling. Finally, you just gave up, closed your eyes, and prayed to God just before the train hit you. And then suddenly you heard the train passing you by, and you were standing on the side of the road. And there's no other way to explain it other than God, the hand of God, picked you up and set you. There's no other way. You couldn't have accidentally fallen. There couldn't have been something that happened. It couldn't have been this, couldn't have been that. The only thing that could have happened is God intervened. I'll accept that as a miracle. But while you're claiming miracles and you're claiming God's talking to you and showing up to you while you're drunk and on drugs, and I was going to kill myself. I was going to kill myself because I was drinking so much. And then Jesus found me. Jesus found me in my time of need. And I know I had, like, you know, asked Jesus to help me quit like lots and lots of times before that. But this time, Jesus did it. Right now, and not just Gaza, but in Lebanon and other places, there are Christians. Lebanon is full of Christians. Lebanon is a majority, you know, I would say it's a majority Christian place, but I don't know. I can't say that for sure. But I know Lebanon has a shit ton of Christians. Just like Palestine had a lot of Christians. There are children in Palestine. I mean, Lebanon hasn't gotten this far yet, but in Palestine, there are Christian children who the Israelis, God's chosen people, have been starving to death. Purposefully stopping food, medicine, all that shit from getting to the people. And they've been doing this for 70 fucking years, plus years. It's just way worse now. And while those children are starving to death, Israel continues to drop bombs on them. And so their houses have all been destroyed. They're living in tents. Some of them try to find refuge in like an old bombed out building that has some sort of structural security, just some sort of measure of protection. But then Israel will drop a bomb on that building. The building will fall down on top of these children, but it won't kill them. They'll be buried. Their bones will be broken. They'll be bleeding. They'll be in excruciating pain. And it's known because people can hear them. They can hear them screaming, crying. They knew their kid was in the building. And because everything's so heavy, they just can't get to the child. Plus, you know, you never know. When removing the rubble from on top of somebody, you have to be really careful because it can... That's where I almost died. That's the Colorado place, yeah. Oh no, that's different. Sorry, that's different. My bad. But they're crying. Their community is praying, God, please do something. You've already failed us so much. And over there, they're ultra religious. Whereas you just like to pretend you're a Christian because it's, you know, you got yourself a gold necklace and you need a piece on there. And you like to feel superior to people. So you walk around saying you're a Christian. These people are devout as fuck. And they're praying to the God that's already ignored them. Because, again, the people that kill the Jesus... The people that hate you, that think you're, you know, God, Jesus is boiling in semen, blah, 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 that kind of shit. Those are your Christian God's chosen people, right? While those children are dying, your God who could dinkle, dinkle, dink anything better, anything away, the God that shows up and helps the drunk not be a drunk. Jesus came to me. How come Jesus never shows up to Netanyahu? How come Jesus never shows up to Trump? Trump says he believes in him. He doesn't. He converted a while ago to Judaism, but nobody talks about it. How come Jesus never shows up to any of your people and says, hey, this isn't the way I do things. Stop it. Trump, you have the power to make the world a better place. Why aren't you doing that? Why doesn't Jesus just, if he's going to appear to people, why doesn't he just appear in a big setting? And why didn't he stop the bullet from hitting Charlie? I mean, why didn't he make it known? What's with the secrecy?
No, he saved Trump when he got shot at.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is all because we have an atheist who claims that he was an atheist until Jesus found him in his doubt and disbelief. This guy has a hard heart. All we can do is pray for him. Words can't reach him. So again, if you think prayer works, let's just say prayer does work. I know you arrogant fucks think God is answering a lot of your prayers. Anytime something good happens, you're like, oh, I prayed about this, so God must have decided, you should get the job. Not that guy that has 5 kids and is on the verge of getting kicked out. You should get the job. Right? God decided that because you prayed more than he did. Like, you guys are so fucking dumb. But let's just say God actually answers one of your prayers. And that prayer just happened to be one that you wasted on me. I would feel terrible. I would feel so terrible. If you're going to waste any of your effort praying for me, use all of that prayer juice, all of that prayer power to pray that God stops the clergy from continuing to rape children. Right? That would be the better thing. We can worry about the rest of the world when the church is on board. But right now, why don't we just get the clergy to stop raping children, especially little boys? How about you pray for that? How about you pray that God shows up to Trump and tells him to stop committing genocide, stop the gas prices being what they are, stop being, because those are the people that killed God. You remember? Oh, you remember? Here we go. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. I keep telling you to give up, Ken. Just letting you know. Now they're trying to police each other, right? Don't worry. This guy might say something that actually, breaks through to your dumbski. You don't want to listen to him. Remember, we are proud pedophiles over here. And he says, understood, Queen, because he's a bitch. He does what people tell him to do. You don't even know this person and you're going to listen to what they have to say. Typical Christian.
She was just playing with the car. Dave, that was cute.
The premise I understand, but very flawed. There was no English in the biblical times, so it's translation of translation for 4 to 2,000 years, which gets messy. It's not real. The Bible is like watching The Princess Bride, right? You literally watching The Princess Bride. You are watching Columbo and Kevin Arnold. Kevin's sick from school that day, so Columbo comes to tell him a story. And you're watching as Columbo tells the story, and then it visualizes the story for you. That's what the Bible is. You're getting a double-double. But there are plenty of pieces in the Bible that tell you it's all bullshit. It's all old bullshit. $24.34. Again, notice how I can continuously quote things and use the narrative that they give against. It's not just making shit. I don't like it. It's mean. Matthew 24:34 is just after the Revelations narrative is given, and the followers of Jesus are scaled. There's a scale. Jesus, that's a scale story. When is all this going to happen, Jesus? And Jesus, who loves saying verily, says, verily, 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 verily. Verily I say unto you, no one of this generation shall die before all of these things come to pass. So right there, right, understand, there's plenty of times in the Bible where it refers to what's going on as us. This was, we did this, or us, this happened to us. It also refers to the Gentiles several times as a separate group. Those Gentiles over there. So you're basically reading an old elder telling the story to a group. That's what the Bible is. And Jesus saying, no one of this generation shall die until all of these things come to pass, means the guy that's telling the story has already, this has already happened. All the people in that Jesus was telling that story to, they've all long died. The authors, again, were long after that, and they've long died. So whatever the Bible is talking about when it comes to Revelations, this shit already supposedly happened. This isn't talking about when this is going to come. Why wouldn't we know? But just like how Jesus never came down and was like, oh, by the way, the earth is a spinning ball in an infinite sea of galaxies, and there's endless possibility for life in this universe, and yada, yada, yada. They actually, it's the opposite. It's that, the very first thing that God does. It's funny, too, how most super smart Christians don't know this thing. What's the first thing God does after it turns on the light? It doesn't make the sun and the moon until the fourth day. So how you have 4 days is beyond me. But what does God do before it does anything else? After it turns on the light, let there be light. Click, click. Then what does it do? Yeah, she's never going to be able to be left alone because of what we're doing.
Probably barking at cow.
No, she barks every time somebody leaves. She doesn't like being left alone. We need to get the cage out. Or the crate, I mean. Huh? I do too. I think we should put this in Nate's room, and we'll put the crate here, and no, we don't need. She'll be in that one in no time. She'll fit that one in no time. Anyway, like it's just really stupid that people don't seem to like they. Hey, come on, let's go outside, let's go. Ah, damn it! God damn it! Get paper towel, quick. Take her.
Come on, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Come on.
God, I'm so sick of having a puppy. God damn it. Oh, fuck. This where you rub their nose in it, right? No, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm cleaning it. You gotta take their face and just rub it in there and say, that's bad, because they understand that. Oh, that was our fault. She got up, jumped down, was being all barky. I should have known.
When she barked, she was probably saying, hey, water, I think. I don't know what it is. The water's coming. Stinky.
God damn it. Yeah, I'll take responsibility for that one. All right. Yep, the algorithm brings you here, so maybe that's Jesus. Maybe Jesus is trying to tell you something. I don't have to go out with them, they're fine. They are fine. Okay, they're fine. They like being out there. Okay, well, he'll fix it. You can't just be that. You got to cut the cord, Mom. You got to let nature take its course. They've been doing this for a long time. They know how to do it. And it's okay. He knows what he's doing. Her barking lets him know he's done it too hard. So that's how they figure it out. But you know, this whole thing with these Christians is like they're stupid and they're scared of how stupid they are. Right? I just skipped over all this shit. I'm sure it's anything worth hearing. Oh, I mock the people who prayed for me that, right, oh yeah, this is that dumb broad who said, again, she's another one of these drunk fucking drug addicts who, you know, God is wasting its time on. Instead of helping children and, you know, who deserve it, who didn't do the thing to themselves, who are the victims, these people did it to themselves. God's too busy helping them.
No, they deflect that by saying it's a disease now. They call it.
It's beyond a choice. That's for sure.
It's a choice.
I'm not going to get into it. Not doing this. Whatever. Unless it's your thing, it's not a choice. I know. Your things aren't choices. Everything else is. I got it. I rebuke your speech against the child. You can rebuke it all day. Why are you still here? You know why you're still here? Because truth is sexy. You like truth. We like truth. We're drawn to truth. We might claim we don't like what's being said, but you like it. You like it a lot. That's why you keep coming back. No one makes you be here. You keep coming back here, speaking in your goofy ass backwards tongues. Where's the remote?
Oh, it's in the cat thing, so she wouldn't eat it. I'm trying to go for it.
Like it's really funny. Again, it turns into something where they can't speak English. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Like you have that ability. What an arrogant fuck. Oh shit. I was planning my own death, literally trying to set my family up not to have to miss me. What kind of arrogant piece of shit are you? Yeah, I was setting them up so they wouldn't miss me. Right, like, because you can set a situation up so your family wouldn't miss you when you died. Especially if you were arrogant enough to take your own life. What a piece of shit. What an awful piece of shit you are, right? Like, on one hand, you could be something good. You could say, you know what? I finally took responsibility for myself. I finally stopped making excuses. I put myself through fucking a really hard situation. And then I cleaned up all the messes I had made. You know, I did a lot to get where I am today. You could say that, but instead you want to act like God did it. God, instead of helping children who didn't do the thing to themselves to begin with, like, you know what's fucked up? Is I know you've been assaulted. God didn't help you when you were assaulted either, did he? You had to use the fucking powers. You had to overcome. And it shows you how capable and wonderful you are. But instead, you want to be all arrogant about it. No, they're fine. Contrary to popular belief, they like being outside. I'm sure you haven't. Even if you said you had, you'd get the guys like Joel, who just would call you a liar, say you were lying about it, because that's what you do. Right? You guys are just pathetic, man. This was immediately after I held my mother's hand, took her final breath. Oh yeah, so again, so you were such a fucking weirdo that you were gonna kill yourself because your mom died? Oh, come the fuck on. What a pathetic piece of shit you are. Like, that's not how shit works. How can you be a fucking rational, functional human being and not understand that the goal of life is for the parents for the kids to outlive the parents? Right? Like that's what the goal is. I was gonna kill myself because my mommy died, and I would have had to face this scary world full of decisions all by myself. What a piece of shit you are. Have a good one, man. Have a good day. The same week COVID lockdown started, my mom died of cancer just 7 weeks after she was diagnosed. Man, why didn't God help her? Why didn't God do that? Was that the devil? Did the devil do that one? Huh? Oh, she didn't. So your mom didn't pray as good as you do, huh? That's weird, man. You should have used your magical prayer powers to pray away your mom's cancer. That would have been a smarter thing to do, right? That would have been like a less selfish thing to do. She was handicapped and I took care of her, actually. She was my best friend. Again, so why did God put both of you in that situation? That sounds awful. Right? I mean, what kind of horrible situation is it for a kid to not get to live their life because they have to take care of their sick parent? And then again, you apparently knew, like you're an adult, you could tie your shoes and stuff. You could tell that she was going downhill. So was there a surprise? Were you surprised by it? I was an atheist at that point, silly. So you're saying God was punishing you for being an atheist by killing your mom with cancer? Was your mom an atheist? You were never an atheist. You were never an atheist. You were one of those selfish pieces of shit who's like, God doesn't answer my prayers. What's God done for me? God's let me down. You don't have a logical perspective of things, and then something fucking, tragic happens, and you go, oh, well, now I just believe in God. Kind of like all the people in prison who suddenly find religion, huh? You were your best friend was your mom. So you're like 400 pounds, aren't you? Right? Yikes. Are you a hoarder too? Nobody should be best friends with their parents. That's bad parenting. If your parents allow you to be best friends with them, they are bad parents. They should be encouraging you to go out and live your own fucking life. Best friends with your parents. Get the fuck out of here. You should have a great having a great relationship is one thing. But for it to be your best friend, your only friend, that's pretty terrible. It was a surprise. She got sick and was diagnosed weeks after that and died 7 weeks after that. So it wasn't a surprise. A surprise is you go to the doctor because you have a cough and you die next day. That's surprising. 7 weeks is horrible. It's tragic, but it's not a surprise. She was diagnosed because something was wrong. You knew something was wrong, you just ignored it for a long time.
I go that way.
There is no such thing as an atheist. Yeah, sure there's not. I never consider myself an atheist. I consider myself a Guyonist. Or a Guyalist. You can go either way.
I mean, you used to be considered an atheist.
No, I never considered myself an atheist. I never wanted a label that was given to me by the system. But I don't believe in any dumb shit. Yeah, okay, if that's the moniker, then yeah, I guess that's me. The diagnosis was surprise, silly. Okay, but her death wasn't. You fucking dumb girl. Seriously, stop being a dumb girl. You're making this too easy. I literally had a husband and a child. Trust. She wasn't holding me back. You had a husband and a child? What happened? Did they leave you? You're just a nutcase. Again, it's like it's so strange to talk to Christians because you go, it wasn't some God, it was you, right? You did wonderful things and you overcame and blah, blah. And they go, no, it wasn't me. I'm not good. It was the God. God did it. The one that the friars tell me I have to listen to.
Go lay down.
The friar fairy tale, that's the one. It's amazing. It's stupid. It's shocking to me how willing they are to be the trash. I have never witnessed such a man smoking dope or talking foolishness as this man does. He's reaping damnation upon his soul. Would you ever want to hang out with that piece of shit? They can't even speak normal English. He's just talking some crazy, like, arrogant, like, superhero kind of shit. Everyone finds Jesus in the end. Right. You notice how I asked these guys a long time ago for some sort of proof? Right? What sort of evidence do you have that your thing is legitimate? How can you prove that your thing is correct and all of the other ones are wrong? And what do they say? Nothing. They just stroke each other. Amen, Ken. Yeah, that's good. Again, this broad's so dumb she doesn't even follow her own shit. But it's arrogance, man. It's this insane arrogance that keeps this boat afloat. Right? They're so fucking arrogant. They think that God, while this dumb broad is, I kill myself because my mom. Like, why would God waste energy on such a pathetic piece of shit? There are children. There are fucking children who are starving, who are being raped by clergy. God does nothing. But this dumb, selfish broad says she's going to kill herself over her mommy, because I'm sure her mom would be like, oh, I'm so glad you did that, daughter. Thank you for killing yourself over me. I was getting my family of, like, what kind of arrogant piece of shit thinks that she has a child and a husband and she was going to set it up so nobody would miss her? What kind of fucking psychotic delusions is she having that somehow she thought God came and spoke to her, or Jesus or some shit? Again, Jesus came and spoke to you? You were sitting there about to kill yourself and you hallucinated Jesus? Is that what you're saying? It was way more than just my mom, dude. That was just a catalyst. Oh, so you're just weak? You're weak and selfish? You say you have a child and you don't think your child should have a mother? As much as you seem to care about your mom, you were going to kill yourself over your mom? And she's saying it like she didn't present the narrative. You know? It's more than my mom, dude. Well, you were the one that said it, you dumbass. But with as much as your mommy meant to you that you were going to kill yourself, you were going to take that relationship away from your child over your mom. You're a fucking shitbag. Also, yes, that was an arrogant and terrible thing. I was completely wrong, and that was evil. Yep. And then God just appeared to you, huh? Oh no, you said you were asking, oh, you put it out there. Every God out there, Vishnu, Muhammad, Baptist God, Christian God, Pentecostal God, Lutheran God, Baptist God. Did I say Baptist? Mormon God, all of you gods out there. I'm going to kill myself over my mommy. Please, somebody come stop me. And specifically, which Christian God came and showed you that you shouldn't do that? Which one is it? Talk about an arrogant piece of shit, right? Everything that's going on in the world, and God stops what it's doing to go comfort you, to make you feel better, because your mommy used to do that. Anytime you had a problem with your husband, anytime you had a problem with somebody at school, anytime you had a problem at work, you call your mommy. Mommy, they were mean to me. They didn't see me as the special princess that you told me I was. Do you need me to call them, sweetheart? I'll call them for you right now, and I will tell them what they're doing is wrong. Yes, Mommy, call them for me. What a fucking weirdo. Believe me, his words are not going to hurt me. I know what I was. Right. Funny, here comes that faith again. The speech of the devil. The speech is of the devil, and the devil is a liar and a deceiver. And that is what this man is doing, trying to derail you from the truth. Can you imagine not being able to speak about something without, going into the fairy tale? Good or bad, that's all you. God and God. This guy doesn't think that people can think on their own. Why would you ever want to be associated with someone like that? They're never going to take responsibility for anything they do in this world. Especially if you were in a relationship with them. Every single thing would be some sort of God does this, God does that, God blah, blah, blah. It's embarrassing, man. You're so fucking desperately stupid. It's weird. All of this instead of taking responsibility and accountability for yourself.
It's 6 mile, not 5 mile, right?
What? Oh.
Yeah, right past the...
I don't know if that's still there. Just look it up. When this man speaks, you are hearing the devil. See, that's what I mean. This guy thinks I'm so much better and more powerful than he is, that I can't just be a human being speaking like this. It has to be the devil is speaking like this. That's how much better I am than anything he can put forth. That's pretty, that says a lot. That's what I always try to point out. They're so stupid they don't realize that's what they're saying. But that's what they're saying. What I'm saying is so much more powerful than anything they can. It must be the devil. It can't just be, I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. And the funniest thing is, the people on the other side, it's not like they're giving, reasonable examples or, addressing anything being said. They're just sort of crying. It's just a bunch of crybaby. Just like Jesus. I mean, it's just the same thing as Jesus. Jesus walked around the Bible talking about, you got to believe me. My dad is God. If you don't believe me, you're going to regret it. And then every once in a while, he'd do a miracle. It's just fucking stupid. God lets you do the same as these priests and these others you're bitching about, you're doing on YouTube. God gave you free will. Yep. So how is there a God's plan and a free will? Don't those things contradict? And it's funny too, you never hear one of these people say it let's say somebody wins a race. They run faster than all of the best runners in the world, and they win the gold medal. And they interview him. First, first of all, I just want to say, all glory be to God. Without God, none of this is possible. Basically, God is the reason why they could run 0.5 of a second faster than the next person. And no one ever says to them, hey, stop that, dude. God gave you free will. You could have gone out and partied and lived it up, and instead you sacrificed. You didn't go out. You trained every day. You ate right. You sacrificed so much. Your family sacrificed. Everyone sacrificed so much for you to be here. And today was your day. You know, who knows if you'd win 10 out of 10 races, you know, but today was your day. You need to give yourself some credit there. It was free will that did that. Nobody ever says that to them. Just like you never hear them say that. You know, well, first of all, I just want to thank myself for giving up everything, for giving up girls, for giving up going out, for giving up having fun, building forts, all that. While everybody else was out having a good time, I was training. While you were eating all the craziest good things in the world, I was eating rice and chicken, keeping my diet straight. I'm going to pay for this when I get older. My body's going to fall apart. But I did it. I did it. I did it. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so grateful to my family for everything they sacrificed. Nobody says that shit, because if they do, well, then they're arrogant. But if they imply that God chose them to win the race, then nobody has a problem with that. Isn't that interesting how that works? My head is so big. Yes, it is. You are a dumb girl. Absolutely. Now you're saying you can't have a normal conversation because you're not a priest. Well, then why do you keep speaking like you're some sort of goofy priest? And I don't know if you've noticed, but priests are bigger cowards than most. The couple of people that I've had that come through and identify as priests, they're dumber than you'd think. You assume that, like you assume with rabbis, right? You assume that these religious people would know their shit and be able to have a reasonable conversation about it. Never fucking happens. You never see them on here for that reason. Like, share, sub if you're watching. All right? Oh, wait. God's allowing me to have too many views, right? It's God. I can have normal, barely. But you do know there are other people here, right? We're talking about multiple people here. I know you're arrogant and you think it's all about you, but it's not. It's not. And when it comes to normal conversations, you can't really express anything. You're saying that you put out the bulletin, that you needed some help, and the version of Christianity that you subscribe to, Jesus, showed up and was like, hi, I'm what? Lutheran? Which one is it? Protestant? Which Jesus do you believe in? And he was like, hi, I'm this Jesus. All those other ones are wrong. Let me show you how. And gave you a quick education. And now you can have a reasonable conversation, especially with somebody who disagrees with you. Correct? That's how that works? You really don't have to acknowledge us. No, I don't. But you give me so much fodder. It's fantastic. If the goal is to point out the stupidity of religious people, and you come on here and you're like, hey, I'll be the victim, like I am grateful to oblige. I don't believe in Catholic faith. They are not Christian. Now you're getting stupid. Now you're getting even. So I love how people don't understand this, right? You're all Catholics. Somebody down the line didn't like something Catholics do, and so they were still brainwashed by the whole thing. So they joined something that fit their narrative a little bit better. And then they had children who had children who had children, and now there's you, who is just who you are because you're an arrogant prick. It's not because you have a good explanation for it. It's not because you have good reasons. Not because you can have any sort of intelligent conversation or discourse about it. You just cry. I mean, look at this shit. Look at this Ken dumbass. The Bible says every knee will bow and every tongue will confess the Lord. Blah. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And do you see what I'm talking about when I say they can't have normal conversations? This dumbass hasn't said a comment that didn't involve Jesus or the devil or something the whole time. This guy would be the worst person to actually hang out with, because that's all he would do in real life as well. Episcopalian ping pong and Scrabble group. There you go. He will mock you. Oh, look, now they're coming to protect each other. He will mock you and try to talk to you. Everything he reads will be in a mocking manner. Kind of sucks. Can't even have a convo with this guy. And as soon as you say something logical, he calls it stupidity. Isn't it funny how you can say these big, long, crybaby comments, but you can't actually give any sort of example of what you're talking about? Like, let's hear something logical come out of your mouth. And again, I'm addressing your dumbassery, but I'm questioning what intelligent, logical shit have you ever said that's been ignored? Yeah, he asked for normal, intelligent conversation, but refused to actually engage in one. I can see that. Look, they're always looking for a way out, right? That's what people do when they know they're losing. When they're losing, they're always trying to find some excuse they can give for why they're not going to do it anymore. It's his fault I can't come up with anything. Like I'm somehow preventing them from saying intelligent shit. Like I somehow know what their comment says before I read it. If they were to say something intelligent, somehow I'm censoring them. They could say all the crybaby. They can pretend like they say so much. They can stroke each other off all day. But at the end of the day, it's my fault they can't say anything smart. It's like Speaker's Corner in London in this chat. Ranters waiting for the rapture bus. It's fucking insane. It's just so weird. Like, these people exist in the world, right? They're driving around in cars. They might, be in charge of a record somewhere or anything. And they live in this fucking fantasy realm that they can't even explain. If they're true, if they're right, why does it bother them so much? The amount of hours they waste on here refusing to actually engage in the conversation is shocking. It's just fucking shocking. It's extremely telling as well. Wait, what do you have to say? Like, why is this the best you can come up with? You just know anything, right? Dumbass says, you're just taking it out of context. I get out of context. Trying to engage in the conversation. What does she do? She runs away. What part of you're extremely fucking arrogant and your story is just stupid don't you understand? Instead of helping children who are being raped by clergy, your God is busy trying to help you not kill yourself because your mommy died. Do you understand the level of arrogance you have to believe that shit? I can't relate to that. I can't imagine being that fucking arrogant. I can't imagine thinking that there's a God that controls. The funniest thing is, again, all of you dumb Christians believe in a universe, right? An endless universe and the sun and the earth and revolves around the sun. You believe all that shit. So, the God of all of that universe is stopping what it's doing to worry about your dumbass. That's a level of arrogance I just can't even begin to relate to. The thought that God has a plan, right? There is no time and space when it comes to God. So God knows everything. He's all-knowing, omni. And yet you believe that if you just close your eyes real hard and push your hands together and you chant a little mantra, then that God will adjust its plan for you. That is so arrogant. You believe that if your mother comes down with cancer, that God didn't do that. Obviously, if your mom had the 7-week cancer, God really wanted her. That was God's plan, wasn't it? Oh wait, you weren't an atheist still at that point. So I guess God's plan doesn't affect things when you're an atheist. Like, just that level of stupidity, the stupidity you put on yourself to maintain your belief structure is something I cannot relate to. Right? And if you're God, if your mom would have gotten better, one day she would have just gotten better, you would have been arrogant enough to say that all of the other people that did die of cancer that day, God chose to save your mom for whatever reason. She must have prayed better than they did. You want to act like God answers your prayers. God doesn't even answer prayers. God answers tithing. So I sure hope to get the miracles you're getting, it's because you're paying for them. Weirdly enough, if you were an atheist, how did you pay for God's services? Seems kind of weird. I know it's scary, dude. They're probably at McDonald's spinning in our onion rings. Exactly. Good thing I would never eat at McDonald's. Especially knowing what Rabbi Finkelstein had to say. Dude, no, I care less. I care less. The fuck does that mean? I care less? Not 2 words. I careless. He's actually saying I careless. I careless. What he means to say is I couldn't care less. But he's one of these dumbasses that says I could care less. Well, if you could care less, then there's still room to work. If you couldn't care less, then that means you're at the bottom and it doesn't matter. You couldn't care any less than you already do or than you already don't. Right? This is how stupid the people we are dealing with are. He literally said, dude, no, I care less. I'd never argue with you. Jesus Christ's word says, spread the gospel. If they refuse to listen, brush the sands off your feet and move on. It's your soul loss. But I'm not refusing to listen, am I? I'm asking questions. If I refuse to listen, that means I refuse to hear what you're saying. The problem for you is that I listen really well and I know a lot more than you do. So because of that, it makes you end up looking really stupid and you don't like that. And I get it. Lots of people don't like that. I care less, dude. I care less. I careless, actually. I careless. Not even care less. It's careless. I careless. Here we go with some more dumbass guy. The devil is a mockery of the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so stupid. Just so stupid. Not a cool guest name. Careless who? I, Careless Jenks. That's how stupid these people are. And then they'll say, oh, it wasn't me, it was the computer. The computer made the mistake. It wasn't me that made the mistake. They're not even like man enough or person enough to acknowledge when they fuck up. They blame it. They're so used to blaming it on the devil. while also giving their fucking credit away. It's amazing to think, like, if I accomplish something and I say it's God that did this. God could be stopping wars. God could be doing all kinds of great things, ending hunger, stopping all the raping of children in the clergy or by the clergy. God could be doing that, but instead God is here with me. Like, that's okay. If I say, hey guys, check out this other feed. This guy has it all figured out. He's really good. He's well read. He understands. He has good perspective. He's willing to engage. He's really fucking smart. And he's kind of handsome. But go check him out. Nobody's going to be like, oh, that's crazy. You're arrogant, blah, blah, blah. But if I say, I'm that guy, then suddenly I'm a bad guy. Because we've all been trained to give our credit away. We've all been trained to give our goodness away and blame it all on the fantastic, magical God that can never do anything when it matters. That's comically powerless in most situations. Manic mantras are back in season. Lucky for you, I listen really well, he says. Well, shit, too bad he can't read comments well. See, like, this dumbass has been... It's really hard to, like, put it into perspective. But let's just say that's true, right? I'm so bad that I can't read, I don't live, blah, blah, blah. This guy has been crying like that while being ignored for well over a year. Right? And I think this might even be his second page. No, this one is the one. Joined 15 years ago, has 15 subscribers. I've been ignoring this guy for the most part for well over a year. And he still keeps coming back and crying about it. And then, look at his comments. Am I really supposed to constantly read these same, you just won't read the comments over and over again? What is preventing this dumbass from saying, all right, dude, you said this. You're wrong about this. Let me explain why. Da-da-da-da-da. If you run out of room, you just go to another comment and continue. What stops somebody from doing that? What stops these people from doing to me what I do to them? By the way, if you're watching, like, share, sub. It's supposed to help. It doesn't, but, you know, I guess I'm supposed to say it. I'm programmed to say those things, so fucking A. I have no room for a useless God. That's what it is. That being said, you should all watch Bill Nye versus Ken Ham debate. Very good video. What? This guy's talking about Bill Nye. That's right. Instead of answering for what's being said, again, reading his comments and then responding to them, he starts crying about Bill Nye and wonders why his comments get ignored. Who the fuck would entertain this shit? Am I really supposed to read every 5-year-old's dribble that comes on here? I like blue elephants. Oh, that's good, buddy. Like that. That's cool. Blue elephants. All right. What the fuck is wrong with these morons? You go actually has reciprocating. But see, again, now I'm supposed to read this, right? If you would go up, I actually did ask you some shit. But you ignore it and skip it and read these ones. Yep, that's what it is. And God forbid you say the same thing twice. Oh, could do that. Just more crybaby. No, I did say something. I did, but I can't say it again. I could just cry. I could cry the same way over and over again. And you're supposed to read those. understand why I don't read most of these comments. I hope he understands why he won't have his comments read anymore. Because what's the fucking point? He's not going to say anything that matters. It's always the same sort of crybaby bullshit. Nobody addresses the things said. You get stupid questions like, oh, so what about this? Or they try to change the subject. What about the flat earth? Blah, blah. Like, I'm not talking about the flat earth, am I? So why are you? Stick to the conversation at hand. Pick something that's going wrong here and let's talk about it. And don't just say you're wrong about this. You have to explain what I'm wrong about. Right? That's the big thing. They love doing that thing. Well, I did say you were wrong. Yeah, okay. That's okay. You can say it. Can you back it up? Can you debunk my argument with anything, or are you just crying? I would imagine you're crying. Yeah, I'm gonna go look up Bill Nye. So if your argument to go look up some long ass video, again, what the fuck are you talking about? You understand that I'm live and I'm not gonna just go look up some long ass video, right? If what he said in the video was so fucking profound, why don't you just say what it is then? Why don't you just fucking say it? Those profound points should have stuck with you. So, educate us. Tell us what Bill Nye said that was so fucking interesting that has to do especially with Jesus, God, Israel, killing, genocide, rape kids, all that shit. Go on, let's hear. It's nothing. It's always the same fucking nothing. And I'm telling you, what would make sense, right? It's just some guy out in the world who literally comes here every single day for hours at a time, ranting stupid, yappy comments over and over again that are getting ignored. And yet he still keeps coming back for years. Years. He's been here for years. I haven't been paying attention to him for a good year, but he's been here for years. Or it's just another, Israeli act.il Team Jorge situation. To me, it'd be embarrassing if you're going to go with you're just some regular guy who really has nothing else going on in your life, so you watch someone you hate and cry about them not paying attention to you, but not actually doing anything to earn it. Instead of you being some sort of op, you're the fool. I'd rather be the op if I'm you. The op at least makes sense. At least you're getting paid for it. To just come here and be the example for free, that just seems like a bad strategy. If you agree with me, that's one thing. Obviously, you're not going to find too many people that are saying the same things I am, so I can understand why you would be here. But if you're like, I don't like you, that's a whole different story. Right? That just gets weird. You'll never see that. As much as I can't stand Ben Shapiro, you're not going to see my comments on Ben Shapiro's feed. I don't sit here and watch Ben Shapiro ever. I wouldn't. I have a hard time watching truthers because they're all so phony. Watching fake pieces of shit like Ben Shapiro takes it to an entirely different level. Ben Shapiro is a motherfucker. This comment will get ignored. The wow, wow, wow comment. I don't know what you said. It got translated, but it says wow, wow, wow. And then a crybaby face. Again, I already told you. What am I not like? You're not saying anything. You're just crying. You're not going to give a decent reason why you're here day after day after day for hours at a time. You can't rightfully explain that or make that make any sort of sense. I can. You can't. Oh, it's entertaining. What's entertaining about you being a fucking a pawn? You being some fucking dumbass that's so stupid they keep providing the example. How is that entertaining? You getting outed as pedophiles. How is that entertaining? I was commenting about the genocide. Well, it said, wow, wow, wow. And then a crybaby face. So I don't know what the fuck you said, but can you see all these comments? Yes. The one that says translated face with the translated symbol on it, the one below Karen's says, wow, wow, wow. The fuck do I care? I already told you, you're too stupid. You've been here too long. Like that dumb broad, she's kind of new, so I don't mind wrecking her around. She sure did sort of bail when I talked about her being about 400 pounds, didn't she? 400-pound hoarder. I'm not a hoarder. I just don't like throwing things out. If I say friars, do my shit get censored? No. Most people seem to be able to say it. I just can't. So I don't. No. This is just too easy. And it's only too easy. It's like, you ever watch Direct D? Direct D is fantastic, right? Direct D got my respect back a little bit yesterday. I saw a video where he approached one of these pieces of shit that goes to dispensaries and does it. Like, why do you have to go to dispensaries? I never understand that shit. You can do all... Why don't they ever go to churches? Go to churches. Go to synagogues. Expose the pedophiles. Why are you going to dispensary? It's regular people just trying to get some fucking medication and you're going to fuck around like that? I just, and if it's all about the video, I guarantee if you go to a synagogue, you're going to get a good video. But if you watch Direct D makes you think you can do it. Another great example is Dave Chappelle, right? So a couple of years ago, Dave was doing a college tour or something. But he was doing a tour where like he would go to these different venues and they weren't huge. But he would do a show, and then after the show he would open up like a question and answer thing for like a half hour or whatever after the show. And this Asian kid stands up and goes, "Hey, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to try giving comedy a try?" And Dave was like, "What do you mean giving comedy a try?" He's like, "Have you done it before?" And the kid was like, No, but you make it look so easy, I thought I could give it a try. And the fans, they clap and laugh. And Dave's like, "I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult, but it's a compliment. It means Dave is so natural at doing what he does, it makes it seem like you could do it." And DirectD does that same thing. That's the thing I don't like necessarily about a lot of these guys that do the First Amendment shit, because they convince the average dumbass that doesn't know what. Like, the reason DirectD is so great is because he's taken the time to learn these things. Plus, he's a confident, alpha personality to begin with. So he makes it look so easy, like anybody could do it. But you don't know what it's like to be in the situation. Your fucking nerves are going. You have something to lose, all that shit. You end up running your mouth and making things worse for yourself because you're not DirectD. I'm the same way here. I make this shit look easy, but you can't do what I do. You can't do the feed without going every few seconds. This guy broke his neck. Hey! Shit. You met other account about the genocide right above this? No. If you left a comment, I would have read it. Come on, let's go. Don't you come in here being bad. You coming or what? Whatever, dude. I don't blame you. Puppies is terrible. Get out of there. What you doing? No, 14 viewers, 18 likes. That makes sense, doesn't it? You've seen that so many times on a live before that it's just nothing. You're like, 14 viewers, 18 likes. That totally makes sense. Especially when somebody has over 2,500 subscribers, right? This is just normal shit, isn't it? So my wife last night, forgot about this. My wife last night said there was a big ass drone outside flying around. It was over our house, and then it was over the neighbor's house. And it was a big one. She said it was huge. It had like the 4 propeller bombs, but it was huge. She couldn't get me out there in time. Either my comments are getting censored or while you are only reading the complaining ones for a whole year. Sure. You are just like Dirk D. You point out the truth no matter how unpopular it is. Yeah, but he doesn't. He does to a degree, but I've had DirectD censor my comments. That's where you and I know each other from, right, Craig? Or at least that's where another place where we've met out in the cyber world, which is interesting. But DirectD, he's censored my shit before. When I've said stuff like, the same thing that's happening in Israel, like they're using IDF tactics against us. That's what's happening. He's censored shit like that. Chill out, weirdo. As soon as you get over this crazy puppy stage, that'd be great. No, she didn't like being pointed out as being a 400-pound hoarder. Oh, the plan with these videos, you didn't put. Oh, so now we're just jumping topics, huh? What's the plan? The plan is to be censored to bejesus and back. I don't have any hopes. It'd be great if one day the right person happened to stumble across this shit, but that's all you can ever hope for. And whoever that right person is, I don't know. You'd think somebody ever. But I also know, man, I have 2,500 subscribers. Where are they? I have 14 viewers. Where the fuck is everybody? All the people that were like, oh shit, I like what this guy does. Let me tell YouTube to, let me tell YouTube to let me know when he's live. Shut up. Shut up. You're not going to jump across there. I am a little punk. I can do anything. Dumb look. She thinks she can jump across something she can't jump across. Stop it! Stop it. That digging thing. Really like to rip fucking... Stop. What are you digging? There's nothing to dig. Hmm. 18 views, 18 likes. That's what makes sense, doesn't it? You call them pedos and for them to off themselves, but when I bring up you wanting to deport friars or mass genocide, you kind of ignore the comment. I wonder why. What are you talking about? You're not important. I ignore your comments for the most part because you're dumb shit, and I don't. What's the point of fucking talking to you? Like you're dumb. Right? So of course you're not going to see me reading every one of your comments. It's a waste of time. But yeah, I have no problem. Like, why would I ignore those comments? I talk about it all the time. The only reason you're saying that is because those are the things I talk about. So what am I ignoring about what you're saying? I don't encourage anybody for genocide. But there's accountability that needs to be had. And if we're going to eliminate pedophilia, you don't get to hide behind religious significance or whatever. So pedophiles are eliminated. And when it comes to the friars, you have the option to not be a pedophile. You can stay. You just have to be okay with being monitored and renouncing your association to the pedophile cult. What do you think I'm going to be like, oh yeah, NAMBLA's allowed to exist though? No, NAMBLA's going to be gotten rid of as well. And I think I want to give friars what they want. But more than anything else, I keep talking about protecting Jewish children. How come everybody ignores that part? I keep saying the most important thing we can do is protect Jewish children. Why do you keep ignoring that? Why do all of them keep ignoring that? You call them pedos, them. But again, you see what I mean? Like, these are the dumb comments that come. I'm supposed to read over and over again how this crybaby says I ignore the comments. What are you? Why? You've said it. Why would I need to read it over and over again to validate you? Why do I even need to read your comments to validate you? If what you're saying is true, you should be happy with it being out there regardless. And if I'm not reading your truth and everyone else can see it, well, they can see that, can't they? But that doesn't seem to be happening. You don't know if I'm talking any more nonsense than, not THEN, than you are. It's than you are. Come on, smarty pants. Stop proving my point. I keep making actual points. I keep pointing out things going on. You keep saying the same, you're not reading comments comment. Do you think those are the same things, huh? I guess that explains something, I guess. Fuck my life with these grammar things. I've told you I'm a middle school dropout. Oh, well. Make yourself better. Funny how being a middle school dropout means you only fuck up words like then and than and the theirs and the yours. You can get everything else right, but you just can't get those basic things that if English wasn't your first language, you'd probably fuck up. You know, like Israelis always do. Aren't you the dumbass that thinks taxing the illegals would be more money than not giving Israel money? Your whole thing is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by people like you. I wish I had better opposition. It's embarrassing that I can't get better people on here. But at the same time, I've had multiple different iterations of people who come through here saying basically the same things. And they get their shit kicked in. So I'm pretty sure I've had the best you can offer. Because what can you possibly say? How is anybody ever going to justify pedophilia? How is anybody ever going to justify metzitzia? It's all fucking stupid. Fucking weird. You know, this is all the distraction. And the thing is, you know, as much as I want to read about, like, I spent years reading you guys the Israeli news. I put Israel into the Google machine and then click news and read what would come up. And nowadays, like, it's beyond that. The stuff that, the real problems aren't things that are going to be in the news. I mean, they might have a story pop in here and there, but it's not going to be the thing that they shove down our throats every day. As fucked up as it may seem, the genocide is the distraction. Like I was saying earlier, they've sort of figured out that we're on to them. And they needed to do something. And they've spent decades making us scared of the big bad Muslims. So when the time to pull the trigger and make the Muslims the big bads, they were already ready already. And that's all you're seeing. They know that their shit's coming out. They have all their all their sensors out there online, all their detectors, all their spiders out there scouring the web for comments and outings. And they've seen this huge uptake in people searching metzitzia. They've seen the results of my efforts with the bottom of darkness. There are lots of people that have gone and checked that shit out because of me. They're starting to see that, the Talmud, searches for the Talmud. What does the Talmud say? 3 years and 1 day shit. They're starting to see this is happening. And they needed to do something. It's the Me Too thing. It's all of it. They know that we all come from mothers. We have brothers and sisters and cousins and babies with children. And the concept of pedophilia is just so foreign to those that don't partake in it. That's where the line gets drawn. We accept the idea that you're going to be rich and hold that over our heads and make all these unfair decisions. Just let us, just let us live just with enough. Let us have our year-long vacation each year, and let us be able to buy some shiny things, and we'll be okay with it. But as soon as it crosses into that pedophilia point, we're like, hey, that's just too far. What the fuck? Most people, there's not a black and there's not a gray area. It's black and white. You either think pedophiles need to die, or you're a pedophile. Nobody thinks let's put him in jail forever. I mean, I do to a degree, but I don't I think put him in jail so they can be taken care of in jail. I don't think putting them in a secluded, protected wing of the jail or the prison and giving them everything they want, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think us taxpayers paying for that's a good thing. But to put them in a Gen Pop situation, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Right? Let nature take its course. And, this is where, it's like with Trump, right? All of you racist, homophobic, sexist, piece of shit Trump supporters were okay with it being racist, sexist, and homophobic. But as soon as it comes into, this is pedophilic, that's when shit goes to a different level. And most people were like, hey, we're not going to take that. And that's the, that's the fear. That's where they know, they have to nip this in the bud. Let's go, dude. Or they have to provide something else as the distraction. And that something else right now is the war. Even the Epstein files are the distraction because it goes to a dead guy. Ghislaine's clearly not in prison. Whoever that body double is, it's a bad body double. Epstein's clearly not dead. Been photographed. Not Palm Beach Pete. That guy that was photographed with the beard and the long hair? Yeah, that guy. With the two fucking protectors on either side of him? What about Russia and China attacking us? What the fuck are you talking about? They're not. If anything happens, it's not us that's being attacked. If you pay attention, all of the other bad guys are saying the same things. Like, hey, you guys know it's all controlled by Israel. They're the ones doing this to the people. The people are the victims. They know that. They know we're the victims. And really, it's all just one big Rothschild fucking game anyway. Yeah. Learning the other day that Israel wouldn't exist without the Rothschilds, without Baron Rothschild, that like seals it. That's as much as I thought it was the deal was sealed before. That absolutely seals the deal. Right? The first Aliyah. Come on. Whatever. The first Aliyah from 1881 to 1904 was on the brink of failure until Rothschild stepped in, bought up a bunch of land and resources and companies and all this shit, and then just handed it over to the friars. Because they weren't going to work. It's not like they the whole thing about the Aliyahs and Israel and all that was it was always about creating a utopia for them. Someplace where they could live very well and not have to work. Which could only mean you have a lot of slaves. Like you can't have an extremely high quality of life without doing work to attain that. And yet that's what they wanted. That was the whole purpose of Israel, was to create this utopia. And so when they got there and it wasn't already ready, they had to do the work to create things. They couldn't. They didn't know how. They weren't prepared for that shit. And so they failed and they were dying. They didn't just show up and it was what it was supposed to be, where it was just like this, okay, let's hold your hand, like what it is now, right? So nowadays they have something called the law of return. And as long as you have a single grandparent who can be shown to be friar, it doesn't matter if you're even practicing, you're allowed to come back to Israel and be given the life. And so, it's part of their bullshit, but they didn't have that all set up back then. It was in the process of being set up, but it wasn't quite set up. And so that first Aliyah was sort of supposed to be the lead into that. But they were so pathetic that they just failed miserably. It's not their climate. They're completely allergic to the land. It's not their native environment. They're from Ukraine and the Americas and Europe and Poland and, Midwestern kind of areas. California was this fucking beautiful refuge. Like, holy shit, it's paradise, but it's still sort of like Midwestern and how rural it is, but it's still paradise. Like, we love it here. Well, that's me, Scuppered. I've just seen you. My train is canceled. Never mind. House is 2 minutes back. Blue Way. Having an easy evening. There must be the wrong color of leaves on the track. You better come in this time, dumbass. You coming or what? Fucking weirdo. Ugh. I want come in. Scratch on the door. Go to open the door. Not yet. And then he goes and lays down. What a dumbass. I don't care about your comments. Taking talking biblical, I was telling my grandfather the congregation how America isn't prophesied in the Bible, Russia, China. Who gives a fuck? Why would I read that shit? I don't care. The Bible's dumb. Don't care. The whole thing's fucked up, man. You know, again, you were told that Israel sort of exists because of the Holocaust and World War II and, you know, the Nakba 1948. But it goes so far back. And like I say, that 1881 to 1904, they were on the verge of death until Rothschild came in. Like Baron Rothschild. Like it's just, show me another situation where a group of people was trying to invade another country, failed, and the Rothschilds stepped in, bought a bunch of shit, and then just gave it to them. Supposedly no strings attached. Think about how fucking crazy that is. And then, if I were to say Israel exists because of the Rothschilds, people are going to be like, you can't say that. That's an anti-Semitic trope, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, no, seriously. The first, it's like talking to Grok, right? Grok will do that shit. Grok will deny shit until you prove that you already know what it says. Then Grok will be like, oh yeah, I made a mistake. Oh yeah, I forgot. And then when you say, you're a machine, Grok, you don't make mistakes. You don't forget things. You did that on purpose. That's what you're programmed to do. Grok will be like, yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it? We lost 2 likes a while ago. Huh? Interesting how that works. Same time, too. How do you lose 2 likes at one time? Must have been Trump supporters. Guys, this whole thing is not... it's not about the genocide to a degree. It is... the genocide has been going on for so much longer than you think. Even the people that talk about for 76 years, it's going on a lot longer than that. British Mandate Palestine was part of that genocide. That's how they were able to do it. By giving Palestinians the freedom, the security of the British rule. You don't have to have a military. You don't have to prepare. We have your backs no matter what. And then suddenly pulling out at the last minute. And they didn't even pull it. They just turned around. And the same people that were supposedly protecting you and keeping your government rolling and your military, all that, they're suddenly now displacing you. These people were 30 years, 3 generations soft. This is just how they work. Was heading for gathering smaller. Oh, that's me back at the gas. Man, you're so fucking cockney, it's crazy. The legs changed their mind. Yeah, exactly. Suddenly 2 people were just like, I don't like what this guy's saying. Yes, Brits are very good at that. Masters, in fact. That's Andy Cap. No, that's Andy. Sorry. No, I would say that's Andy Cap, right? And that means dandy. Fine and dandy, handicap. I don't fucking know. I've gone and wet myself. The knife in the... Wait, what is it? The life of the wife was ended by the knife. Anyway, alright. I'm fucking done. You guys have a great day. Pedophiles, you know what to do. Go get your free download. www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's free to download, free to listen to. Everything's free. All we ask is you share it with somebody. And you click download, it'll ask you how much you want to pay. You click 0, and then it's free. Oh, hey, we got another like, along with another viewer. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just get bored, right? Like, I don't do this to hear myself. I do this because I want to hear what I'm wrong about. And after long, it gets boring smashing these fucking low-grade plebes. And I'm just hoping people will come in and say something that matters, but I don't see how you could. I don't see how anybody could oppose what I'm saying, even kind of logically. It literally would only come down to, well, I have faith, and then you don't want to talk about that part. You just want to be able to say it and bounce. So go listen to great tunes, people, says Caron. I agree, you should. The second link provided is the link to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made. They made it. There's no there's no Goyim in it anywhere. It's all friars, start to finish, script to camera, editing room, whatever, all of it. It's all friars. And it's extremely eye-opening. It tells you why you are an American. Proud to be an American, where the streets are paved with cheese. Good old Fievel. Like, think about Fievel. When I was a kid, I had no idea what I was watching. Nowadays, I need to watch Fievel again, just so I can see how insane it is to make a movie that is only going to be relatable to 2%, less than 2% of the population. Senora.
I need you to go upstairs.
Uh-oh. This sounds serious. Okay, I'm heading upstairs. Hang on. That was okay. Yeah. Let's see. Nope. No plate number in that. Yeah, I don't have anything. Okay. Alright. Yeah, tells you why who you are, and you believe in George Washington, and you know, America and all that bullshit. Never mind 1773 or 1783, whatever it is. when America was supposedly signed over to the Brits. Never mind all that good shit, right? The narrative you're given is completely wrong. Just the architecture alone, the logistics of the argument. Logistics always destroys the narrative. And the logistics behind something as crazy as the tunnel systems and the aquifer, all of it, just the buildings, everything. Tartaria is the most amazing distraction because it's true. But it definitely puts it into perspective that you're being lied to. And the lie is perpetuated by Hollywoodism. Hollywoodism is the ultimate, liar. And that's what they say in the movie, is how essentially you could say the American dream is the Freya dream, because they used Hollywood to not just create the America they wanted, but the world they wanted. But it's falling apart. That's why it's just not, they got lazy and they got greedy and we stopped falling for it. But Hollywoodism tells you all about that part. And then the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article tells you why they are the way they are, and how you can have an entire population of psychopaths who violate their own children ritualistically, and they do so much to think that, of course they think they deserve $3.8 billion a year. It's not free. You know what they go through for that shit? Read Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness. When they say, yeah, your house got bombed. Like, who cares? Were you violated from 3 to 12? Come on. God damn. Were you violated from 3 to 12 and then forced to violate another kid once you became an adult at 13 and yada, yada, yada? Everybody covered it up and all sorts of bullshit. Did that happen to you? No? Okay, well, then, go get a new house. Right? That's all they said. Just go get a new house. You'll be okay. Go and have new kids. You can have more kids, can't you? Okay, so who cares? They believe that each one of them should have 2,800 of us as slaves. Not literally, because that's impossible, but figuratively. Okay? Figuratively, it takes about 2,800 of us to facilitate their lives. 2,800 of us working, making babies, raising children, paying taxes, all of it, to ensure that they get to live the lives they want to live. Free of responsibility, free. The same freedom we wish we had. Tax-free, life-free, charge-free. They live that free life, and you wish you lived that free life. You wish your children lived that free life, but you don't. And it's because they do. It's so they can. So they can. And until you understand that, like this isn't Guy has a bad opinion about things. No, it's not my opinion. These are facts. It's facts that this is what they believe. Not that what they believe is true, but that they believe it. How do you tell somebody, how do you argue with somebody like, you need to give up all of the advantage in the world and treat everyone the same? Like, the thing is, and that's very doable, unless the people that are in charge like hurting people. Unless the people that are in charge, their rituals involve sacrificing people. And that's what they need us for, is to fulfill those sacrifices. They could have taken out all of Palestine a long time ago. We wouldn't still be talking about it in 2026 if they didn't, if they would have just done it. And when have you ever heard about that? When have you ever heard about a country taking over another country, but allowing them to sort of exist in a sort of, in a sort of fake version of freedom? When have you ever heard about that? It's never happened. When a country takes over another country, they take it over. They don't fuck around and allow that other country 15% of the country just in case they decide to one day revolt. Think about The Godfather, right? And when he talks about killing the kid, because if he doesn't, one day the kid will grow up and be a man and avenge his father. And Robert De Niro's like, I was that boy, and blah, 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 right? And that's literally what justify their actions and saying is like, if we don't kill the Jew, rise up and take revenge. Like, that's how they think. They're just horrible fucking people. They're just horrible people. There's no reason why Israel should exist at all. But like I say, they didn't take over all of Palestine. They kept a small, looks like, I don't know, a pasture, completely surrounded, a ring, a pen, that they control who and what goes in and out of. They don't even let them rebuild their houses and shit. But like I say, if you wanted a hamburger and you had a cow farm, you were gonna have a party where everybody there was gonna have hamburgers, you wouldn't kill all of your cows just for that one fucking party. You'd kill the cows necessary. One, maybe two, but more than likely just one. Because you want to have hamburgers tomorrow or a week from tomorrow. You want to be able to have that same party every year. And if your group is known to have those kinds of parties multiple times a year, you're going to need a steady stream of hamburgers, a steady stream of cows. You can't just kill them all at once. And guess what? You make a large portion of those in the pen, one thing, and the other portion this thing. So they're always sort of conflict there, but blood libel needs Christian blood. So you got to have some ready-made Christians at the ready, so for your sacrifice, for your ritual. Tell me I'm wrong. Why didn't they just take it over a long time ago? They wouldn't be struggling with the moral fucking blah, blah, blah that we deal with now. Back then, they controlled the entire narrative. In 48, they could have just taken that shit and nobody would even talk about it today. We wouldn't even think about it. We'd be taught in school that they'd always been there and it'd been no big deal. Why did they leave such a small portion just to be slaughtered slowly for 78 years? Fucking ready-made fucking sacrifice. What else could it be? We're not stupid. We're not some dumbass Christians gonna start talking, blah, blah, they kept the thing around because the light of Jesus says only kill 86-90% of the people. Don't kill them all when the shining down of the heavens from the devil and the spirits and the... No. It's just basic common sense. Why would you fucking keep that around? Continuing to make yourself look bad and shit. Nowadays, and for the last 20 years, when we've had the internet, and they haven't been able to control the... Because you never heard anybody talking about this shit prior to that, because they controlled the news. Nobody you knew talked about the victims in Palestine and all that other shit. To this day, I've never heard anybody else suggest that they kept them around for this reason. You know, most people are distracted by how bad it is, but you have to ask yourself, why? Again, if they would have done it in 48, nobody'd be talking about it today. Wouldn't even be a thought. Anyway. Get the free download. Go watch the movie, Hollywoodism. Read the article that explains it all. And then there's going to be a shit ton of receipts along with links to the Facebook page. So when I'm not live here, I'm live there. You don't miss it. Go like, share, and sub on the Facebook page. Go be one of the 6,300 subscribers that I have. So when I go live, you can be one of the 2 people that show up. Because that makes sense. Remember, this feed has been shared on my feed with 6,000 plus people that want to be a part of my world. Where are all of they? Interesting. Anyway, it's always the same fucking 10 people. Strange. Have yourself a wonderful day. Most importantly, you piece of shit pedophiles, kill yourself. Wait, don't want it to get cut off at the end. All right.